Imagine stepping onto a strange, isolated land, thousands of miles away from everything you've ever known. The air is hot, the bush is unfamiliar, and you are not a free person. You are a convict, sent to the other side of the world for crimes that, in today's world, might seem shockingly small. This is the story of Australia's first convicts, and how their lives shaped the foundations of an entire nation. In 1788, the first fleet arrived at Botany Bay, carrying around 1,500 people. Of those, nearly 750 were convicts. Their crimes? Many were petty thefts, stealing bread, a handkerchief, or a few coins. Yet, because Britain's prisons were overcrowded, these men, women, and even children were sent across the ocean, a journey lasting 8 months. Conditions on the ships were brutal. Food was scarce, disease was rampant, and punishments for disobedience were harsh. Life in the new penal colonies was harsh. Convicts worked long hours under the burning sun, building shelters, farming land, and creating the basic infrastructure of what would become Sydney. Food was rationed carefully, and failure to follow rules could result in flogging. But not every convict's story was one of misery. Some gained respect and freedom through hard work, eventually becoming landowners or tradespeople. In fact, some of Australia's earliest businesses were built by former convicts. Female convicts faced different challenges. Many were sent for petty theft, and once in the colonies, they were often assigned as domestic workers or, sadly, forced into relationships for survival. Children, too, were transported. The youngest was only 9 years old. Imagine a child, barely old enough for school, forced into hard labor in a strange land. Not all convicts accepted their fate quietly. Escapes were attempted, though few succeeded. Some convicts tried to vanish into the bush, unaware of how unforgiving the Australian wilderness could be. Others staged uprisings, most famously the Castle Hill Rebellion in 1804, sometimes called Australia's Convict Rebellion. Though crushed, it showed that these prisoners still longed for freedom. Over time, transportation became less about punishment and more about creating a workforce. Many convicts were eventually granted tickets of leave, a form of early parole, allowing them to build new lives. Their labor laid the foundations of roads, buildings, and farms. By the mid-1800s, transportation ended, but its legacy was already deeply rooted in Australian society. Today, millions of Australians can trace their ancestry back to a convict. What was once seen as shameful is now often a point of pride, proof of resilience, survival, and transformation. The convict story is not just about crime and punishment. It is about how ordinary people, sent here against their will, became the unwilling builders of a new nation.